Hi guys, how you doing? We are here to try one of our recipes. It is a little bit of a variation on one. It's called black and blue burgers, but this time we're gonna make sliders. Chris is gonna show us kind of the basic idea behind stuffing the burger. We're gonna put it in the cast iron on the grill, and we're gonna go from there. Um, let's get started.
All right, I'm Chris from Dizzy Pig. We're going to do some of these. It's a recipe of Joellen's, who works for us. If anybody's come into our store, they know how great Joellen is. And she's got this recipe. She usually makes it in a burger press for full-size burgers. We're doing sliders today, so we're just going to kind of, form them as we go. And the idea behind these burgers is they're like stuffed with a little, some blue cheese.
And one of the suggestions we have is buy some creamy blue cheese instead of the crumbly. It's a little easier to manipulate and to put in the burger. Basically, we want to get it a thin layer, put it right in the middle, and then form a burger around it, like a little pouch.
A lot of times it's done with two patties. You make a patty, you put the blue cheese on, you put another patty on top of it and seal the edges. But these things are going to cook real quick because they're sliders. We're going to have a real hot pan. So I want them good and small. And it works easier that way. All the cheese is wrapped in there. That one's a little big, but hey, everybody likes a different size burger. We'll get to some bayou-ish here. Whip some of this gook off my hand. I'm just going to load this up with our bayou-ish, which is a blackening seasoning I came up with a couple of years ago that I actually had to work on for about 3 years to get the balance right. And it loves a hot pan. And like the idea is to contrast that creamy blue cheese like against the brown, crusted exterior on the burger.
And what temperature are we gonna get the egg to?
It's running about 500 now. I'm going to get these caramelized onions off that we're heating up for a little later and just let that pan get ripping hot. And those are the hot caramelized onions that Joe made them last night.
And the toppings is really up to you. I mean, some people like pickles and ketchup, kind of simple. We're gonna go caramelized onions and of course the blue cheese inside the burger, and it's a great combination.
I really made mine a lot bigger than Joe's.
Yeah, we have all kinds of different sizes.
So that one will be a little more medium rare maybe at the end, which is just fine because there's always somebody that wants a medium rare burger. Coat it up. Don't be afraid to put too much. There's not a whole bunch of salt in here. All of our seasonings, just not too salty. And this is going to brown up real nice and get caramelized and nutty. Like nutty.
And we like 80-20 kind of ground beef. You do want a little bit of fat on those.
You really want fat. That's what makes a good burger. So that's it. We got them all formed. Got a hot pan over here. I expect it's hot enough. Running about 500 degrees. And open it up wide because I didn't get the sizzle I'm looking for, but it won't take long for these things to get cooking.
And if you don't have a cast iron pan, could you just do it direct heat?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
On the grill?
By all means. The thing I like about the cast iron here is it's going to give us a nice black, crusted like surface all the way across evenly. You could get almost the same thing on the grate. I just really like the cast iron pan, and once that fat starts melting, it really starts looking good.
And you can even deglaze it later and make some kind of sauce.
Yep.
For your onions.
I'm going to close the egg and let them go for a couple minutes. And we can talk about some of our other seasonings that are great on burgers. Of course, the cowlick is a classic. We've had this in our lineup for 13, 14 years now.
I mean, ever since I've been here.
15 years. I think this was actually one of our first releases. Real popular, Texas style steak rub with a lot of black pepper. It's a lot of people's favorite. And there's our raising the steaks, which is the Canadian style. Got a lot of garlic, some dill seed. It's quite a different departure from our cowlick, but also delicious on beef. Our bayoush is what we're using now for blackening because we got a good hot pan. We have our game on, which I came out with last year for venison and wild game. Delicious on our burger. And for the real exotic folks, there's nothing like a red eye burger.
Yeah, the last two have a little bit of coffee in them, so that creates a little maltiness. That's great for if you have ground venison, right. that would be a great burger to put some game on.
Exactly. Even people who don't like coffee really end up being surprised that you can't really taste the coffee. You just get a rich kind of maltiness in the background, which is great. But our bayoush is kind of herby. It's has a little bit of a punch to it. Mm-hmm. Of course, like spices are going to get all toasted and round out, and I think these things should be delicious.
Yeah, for a blackening seasoning, it's not overly spicy. Blackening doesn't always mean spicy. But we do have a little bit of red peppers in there. It does have a little bit of a kick.
Yeah, I call it a medium heat.
Yeah.
And with all our rubs that have heat in them, like the more you cook them, the more you brown them, the less spicy heat that comes through in the end. So don't be afraid if you like real hot stuff to go ahead and add some cayenne.
And these are the onions that we had. We caramelized. Joellen did them last night and brought them for the cook today, and that's gonna be one of our toppings. And it looks pretty good. I mean, you almost can just eat them.
I'd eat them like that.
Yeah.
Just put it on the bun, and we got lunch.
Yeah. On the recipe it says to leave the burgers like 10 minutes on each side, but the recipe is a little bit of a bigger burger we cooked for that one. This is a little bit smaller, so maybe 5 minutes on each side.
It should go quick, and I got them ripping hot. You can already see them changing color. We're just going to do a little peek on the one in the middle. You can see it's still a little bit soft. Whoops, and turn it apart. Yeah, that needs a little bit more browning on that side. So I'm not even going to touch them. Maybe another minute or so. We'll check them again. Because you really want to get that dark crust on there. That's going to be your flavor. And otherwise it wouldn't be a black and blue burger. Make sure these vents are wide open. What else do you do with burgers? I mean, there's all kind of stuff you could stuff them with mushrooms. You could use any kind of cheese, really. I'm not a huge blue cheese fan myself. I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of funkiness to it.
Yeah, I mean, you can use other cheese too. I mean, cheddar cheese is the go-to. A sharp cheddar would be pretty good in that burger.
Sharp cheddar in a burger.
You can just go regular American. I mean, that's a crowd pleaser. In terms of rub, I particularly go with cowlick for my burgers. It's you need a little bit of that saltiness, peppery. It's really great. Raising the steaks. Have you tried a burger with raising the steaks?
Actually I have. It's really delicious. The garlic gives it like a buttery flavor. And like the great things about the cowlick and the raisin the steaks is like they both don't have any sugar in them. So if you want to blacken with those or use a hot pan, you don't have to worry about burning that sugar, which is great.
The same with all the ish blends. I mean, we're doing bayoush now, but who says you can't make a fajita-ish burger?
That's right. Oh yeah, especially if you got a Mexican theme going on, that would be awesome.
It's all good. We do have the recipe. It's the link on the title of the video. That's actually the recipe, so you can click on that and see the original stuffed burgers. Definitely something that Joellen created, like I think a couple years ago, and they've been really successful.
Randy Robinson wanted to know which Dizzy Pig seasonings he would put on chicken.
Oh, on chicken. You know what? All of our seasonings are good on chicken. My absolute favorite is Tsunami Spin. It's a very unique seasoning that has become one of our most popular. We won a bunch of awards on the pro competition circuit with the Tsunami Spin. Shaking the Tree, Raging River, Dizzy Dust, Crossroads, Red Eye. When we do demos with chicken, we use the boneless, skinless thighs, and God, all the seasonings are great.
Yeah, I think Raging River is the most popular that we use on chicken on our demos. Tsunami Spin is great, Mediterranean-ish. Another one, a different flavor profile, but it's great on chicken.
Herby situation going on. I'm going to give these things a flip now. I expect we got enough color on side one. Yeah, look at that. That's what you want. Deep crust. Okay, now these burgers are already hot, so side 2 is going to go really quickly. See that like big one I made is kind of busting open. I think Joe did a lot better job with hers than I did.
Well, we know which one we're getting.
You can see a little bit of the cheese is kind of oozing out here. That's going to be fine. Even if it gets a little bit of browning on it, that's not going to hurt at all. So I'd expect on side 2, we're only going to need about 2 minutes for those things. And then we'll pull them out. We'll rest them on this cutting board for a few minutes and go ahead and build our sandwiches.
If anybody has any other recipes for burgers that they really like, just message us on Facebook or put them in the comments. We're always looking for new recipes or different things to try. That's one of our goals here, to get new recipes going.
We have another recipe online if you want to get out there and look it up. Real creative cook in Pennsylvania named Mark Ippoliti. He goes by Zippy Lip on the forums. He made a pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
Like a pumpkin
slider or
sliders bun, where he made the buns out of pumpkin and some flour and some other stuff. Very interesting combination with pineapple head, and grilled the little buns, and then he makes a little slider with cowlick on it, and that like real peppery cowlick and the sweetness of the pumpkin and the pineapple head. I couldn't explain how crazy those flavors were and how creative they were. And
yeah,
a lot of people have really
that might be a longer
ideas.
cook than a live.
Yeah.
We might need more time.
Yeah,
but,
maybe we could do the pumpkin buns ahead of time.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But yeah, there's lots of options. I've seen crazy stuff. I've seen buns made out of like ramen noodles. I've seen like people are pretty creative. So
And
we're always looking.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah.
Is another one?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty crazy.
I remember not too long ago, one of your parties, we sprinkled some all of our different rubs on donuts and grilled them. Yeah, there could have been a bun.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we like the red eye one. The chocolate donut.
red eye.
I'm gonna pull these off. I don't want to cook them anymore. I think they're gonna be done. We got a good crust on both sides now. Now those look like sliders right there. Mine looks like a full-size burger. I guess I got to pay a little more attention to Joe next time to make these. Oh, there you go. Look at those. So they're pretty hot right now. It's probably a good idea. I mean, you could just go right ahead and like build them right now. We're just going to wait a minute or so for them to kind of take an edge off the heat that they got, and we'll build these sandwiches.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe's going to want any pickles on hers? Or we'll just go with the caramelized onions.
Just
That's what the
caramel
recipe
onions
is.
and the black and blue burgers. I think that's a winning combination.
All right.
I wouldn't add any ketchup or mustard to this.
Ain't no sense in waiting. Let's get these things going.
But maybe if you want a little bit spicy, you can put some sriracha sauce or jalapeno slice.
Well, those are either the big slider buns or else my burger was actually just about the right size.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's what you want. I'm going to go in with the onions. Don't be shy. Onions are really good. I got the shadow from the camera. But they still a good shadow or not. So there you go. That's our blackened burgers. That's our second Facebook Live post. Keep an eye out. We're going to try to do one of these every week. You know, we're trying to, that's what we do. We help people make better food. So this is the best way we could thought to do it is get out here and start doing some live stuff. How's that?